The next thing I thought maybe we'd raise is setting. For me in a book, setting should be on every page without boring you or being long. The best way to describe how you do setting, and I wonder if you do this ever with songs, is I'm a member of a group called the Adams Roundtable in New York, which is about 10 of your favorite crime writers, I hope, Mary Higgins Clark, Lawrence Block, Peter Straub, Susan Isaacs, Linda Fairstein, Carol Higgins Clark, Tom Cook. And one time we were discussing, what's the scariest noise in the world? What's the most horrifying noise? Is it a mother screaming, a baby crying, a man being tortured, whatever? And someone said, no, no, no. You're all alone in that little house that I was describing to you before, all alone in the woods, in that little cabin. You're all alone downstairs in the woods, and suddenly you hear the toilet flush. And that's the moment I'm always looking for as a writer, the flush toilet moment, if you will. But setting can tell you a lot about this. I was in a book tour in Virginia, and we're going to the event, and the guy's like, wait till you see, we're going to cross the Great Bridge, the Great Bridge. Now, I'm from, New Jersey, right by San Francisco, so I'm thinking Golden Gate Bridge, George Washington Bridge, the ones from my hometown, big bridges. And the Great Bridge is maybe the length of this room. Like, why don't you call it the piece of crap bridge? Why don't you? In New Jersey, where I live, if you're riding on Route 17 in Ramsey, New Jersey, there's one of those no-tell motels, the ones that have signs saying, now featuring towels, that kind of. This guy over here is nodding a little too firmly, sir. But, the name of the motel is the Fair Motel. We're not great. We're not even good. We're fair. If I'm describing to you Route 23 in Wayne, New Jersey, I'm not going to tell you it's 4 lanes across the divider in the middle. I'm going to tell you on Route 23 in Wayne, New Jersey, there's a tattoo parlor called, think about this, Tattoos While You Wait. Like, how else would you do it? Here's my arm, got a skull and crossbones. I'll be back in about an hour. But that'll tell you more about Route 23 in New Jersey than 4 pages of boring descriptions will do. You've done songs that are strictly on settings, haven't you? Or places or things like that. Do you do settings when you do songs?
I actually don't do settings very well, and that's actually one of the things I like about your writing is you don't over-describe a scene. I remember I was, that book Shantaram?
No.
Yeah, is that how you pronounce it, Shantaram? Okay. I thought it was a very famous book. Obviously not.
I'm not well read. You know it, right, Wayne?
It's really long.
Yeah.
It's very long, yeah.
Very long books.
And I had it recommended to me by so many people, and so I decided to give it a go because I like the idea of the story. But I got about a quarter of the way into it, and I realised that he just spent, I think, maybe 7 pages describing one room that he just walked into. Like literally, or it was a bar, and he described, which direction the stairs were going and what the pillars looked like and what the chairs were made out of. And I was like, I don't need to know this. Just tell me 1 or 2 things. Anyway, sidetrack. That's why. Yeah. I just love it when you're able to describe, like you said, with the flushing toilet. But just like that. That sums up the entire feeling.
There's a woman in Paris, I always think that Paris, I described in the book, Paris is like a really beautiful woman that knows she's beautiful and doesn't try so hard.
Yeah.
That's what Paris is always kind of to me. You take like 2 minutes sometimes to write a song. It takes me, I say, about 9 months to write a book. Each book is 9 months about. I compare it to childbirth. The best part's the idea. Bill didn't get it, Elaine, but you explain it to him. He has no clue what I'm talking about. And some days you feel great and you're glowing, and some days you feel like there's a dump truck parked on your bladder. And ladies tell me, at the end you just want the dang thing out. I mean, I remember, I think it was my second kid, we got to the hospital, and the doctor's not there, and I go to my wife, don't worry, honey, I called, the doctor's on his way. And my wife's like, I don't give a shit if the janitor delivers it, get it out! And that's how it is with the book. Do you ever have that with a song like where you just, at the end, I wrote the last 40 pages of this book, and this book, the last 45 pages, in 1 day. It's not a pretty day, you don't want to hang with me. My kids are like, throw down your banana and run!
Is it a lot of pressure to come up with a really great ending? Is there more pressure on the ending than any other part of the book?
Yeah, I know the ending before I start, for the most part. Oh. I'm not going to give away the ending of the new one.
No, please.
This is the first time I actually thought of the ending before I thought of the beginning.
Yeah.
And the ending in this one is so weird that I actually dismissed it for a long time. And I said, nah, I just can't go there. And I just kept coming back to it saying, yeah, you can. And I always know the beginning and the end. I compare it to driving from my hometown of Newark, just west of San Francisco, across the country to California. I may go Route 80, I may go via the Suez Canal or stop in Tokyo, but I pretty much always end up. I wonder if this is another great writing quote that I wonder if it applies to songs. E.L. Doctorow says that writing is like driving at night in the fog with just your headlights on. You can only see a little bit ahead of you, but you can make the whole journey that way.
Writing a what, sorry?
Writing is like driving at night in the fog with just your headlights on. You can only see a little bit ahead of you, but you can make the whole journey that way. In other words, I can't see, I don't outline everything, I can't figure out where I'm going next. When you start a song, do you kind of know exactly where it's going to go? Does it all sort of come to you at one moment, or does it come to you in bits and pieces, or different songs, different ways?
Yeah, it depends where the song comes from. I mean, I guess if I'm writing about a personal experience, then I mean, there's no need to really know the ending, because I'm just telling it how it really happened.
But do you have like your heart broken again a few more times? I
really do. I haven't written many songs over the last couple of years, and I put it down to not having been in a relationship. But yeah, what was the question? No, the ending. Yeah, it's. I tried co-writing with some people a few years ago, and we experimented with coming up with the title of the song first, which I'd never done before. And I guess I guess the idea is you kind of know what you're writing about as soon as you begin, and that was kind of helpful. Although it wasn't that conducive to just you know, letting the song kind of feel itself out. It's like, okay, this is what I'm going to write about, and this, you know, it has to stay in this container. So I try to make it as natural as possible and not kind of give it too much of a form beforehand. I never know
titles. Like I haven't titled. I think I've titled 2 of my books altogether. Whenever title I go, I always tell my publisher, and they go, no. In fact, Tell No One, which is my first, and I have to give. You know, for those who don't know, book passage in Port of Madeira. I'm not saying this because they're right here. It's considered one of the top stores in the entire country. In booksellers. Elaine has been named a bookseller of the year by Publishers Weekly a number of times, and this is one of the top people. And when I wrote Tell No One, which was my breakout book, my first New York Times bestseller, one of the early signs that it was going to be a hit was when I got a call from them saying, Elaine loves it. That was, it really was. One of the first calls I ever got on it was Elaine loves it. But when I first handed in Tell No One, the title of it was, that's embarrassing. The title of it was Big Tears Fall. And my publisher goes, what the hell is it, a Native American story? Me, Big Tears Fall. You know? They just hated the title. And so I realized, that's a good point. That's a horrible title. Sing a song for us, Missy.